Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Nick Talks. This episode's guest is a real Greater Manchester story. I want to start reaching out to people who have got stories based in Greater Manchester about either failing services, how their lives have been ruined, or even fantastic news from Greater Manchester. So if you've got a story like that, get in contact. Today's guest is Nick Wilson, who has got a terrible story actually now. It's basically ruining his life. He's been failed by two different agencies in Greater Manchester, meaning the NHS and Greater Manchester Police. So first of all, let me welcome Nick to the show.
Hi.
So let's get straight into this. So briefly, what happened to you?
Well, 15 years ago, I was followed by three youths, and I was basically kicked in the head all the way down to the back of my lower spine, etc. And basically, GMP were called out from a neighbour that saw me lying in the middle of the road. He found me. He phoned up GMP. GMP came out. Yet after they left the scene, no recording was made of the crime. And then basically for the last 15 years, they've been basically trying to avoid owning up. Basically, for 15 years, been saying that the police never were on the scene.
Right, so let's get this straight. So 15 years ago, you was horrendously assaulted
Yep,
in the street. The police turned up. Were you then taken to hospital?
yeah, taken to A&E.
Yeah, by ambulance.
Yeah,
And the police have no record of that.
nope, no record whatsoever.
Right, absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. You'd imagine, well, not imagine, that would be standard duty of a police officer who is sending someone or dealing with someone who's going to hospital for being assaulted. That hasn't even been recorded.
Yep, you'd expect it to. And you'd expect them to actually come out on the day they say they're going to come out and take a statement. That's the job of the police. They do it.
Yeah. Well, the statement side is incompetence, and lots of people suffer from incompetence from all public services. But the first thing, I mean, it's not even been recorded on a system. So how can they investigate? How can they try to solve a crime that isn't even on their system to be solved in the first place? So that just says to me, you got no service off the police that day, because how can they investigate something that, according to their system, has never ever happened? So that's appalling. Then what happened after that? What's been your experience then with the NHS? Because you were badly assaulted and you needed healthcare.
Yes, basically, from the assault, uh, after being kicked and stamped on all the way down the spine, I've got three separate areas in the spine that have been affected. Yet I've seen so many different consultants over the last 15 years. They've done every single test, scan, pain management, basically all non-surgical options they've done. When they've all been exhausted and the only option left is to operate, then you get a different change of attitude. The attitude then is, yeah, we understand you've not got a quality of life anymore and all this. But pain management and exercise is the only thing that we can do.
Right. So
They won't operate or they can't operate.
that's the question I was going to ask. Are they saying there is an operation we could do, but we're not doing it for whatever reason? Or are they saying there is no operation we can do? Or are they saying there is an operation, but the risk to you for this operation is too great?
None of basically, I've been told off one consultant a few years ago that decompression surgery is an option, but they're not convinced it'd help the pain. Then I got, basically when I saw the last pain management specialist, called me into the room. I was about to go into the room and he went, "You want an operation?" And I went, "Yeah." And he went, "Sorry, you can't have one." No patient choice or anything, no explanation.
No explanation.
No, I just got told I can't have one. And that's what it's been like for the last 15 years.
Right. So at the moment, there's no path for you to take.
Nope.
Yes. Have you
Look at the minute.
what sort of complaints have you made?
Oh boy. I've made what's the third complaint that's been investigated at the minute by Northern Care or by the trust. We're supposed to get a response for that soon, but one of the other trusts that are involved, we're waiting for them now to actually conclude their end before we can go anywhere else, because it's a multi-site issue.
And these things take months and months. I mean, they don't deal with these complaints within days or weeks. These are months and months and months.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Long
Have you
time.
spoken to your local MP?
Oh yes.
Yes, right.
That load of UC one.
Well, yeah, because that's the advice I give people, because that's what MPs are there for. I've worked in the public sector. If you get a complaint in to your office by an MP, we all drop what we're doing and we all work on that complaint to get rid of the MP's complaint. So for people watching, always go through an MP if you've got a complaint about a public service. You know, you make sure you use them. You pay for them, you use them, but you've already done that, and he was a waste of space.
Yes.
Right. So what are your alternatives now? Is there anything else you can do, or are you? It sounds like you're stuck in limbo.
Yes. Stuck in the rut at the minute. I basically having to get referred back to a different pain specialist department, just for them to say pain management ain't going to do anything.
Right.
So it's stuck in the mud at the minute.
Yeah. Now, they may have some very good reasons for some of their decisions, but that's not the point here. The point is, if you as the patient don't understand their reasoning, if you as the patient, which is the customer, are not getting the service you demand, which is a full explanation, are making sure you understand it, making sure you're happy with what's going on, that's the failure here. I mean, the NHS may go, no, these are the reasons why, which may be medically sound, but if you don't understand them, and if you've not been told them, that's the failing.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you don't know. I mean, there's nothing else you can do now. You just wait. Your life is in their hands, and they're treating you like all public service agencies do. You're just a number to them. You're just a file on a computer. Every complaint you put in goes, it's that idiot again complaining, and that's all you are. And that's what we need to get away from in this country, is we need to start treating people as people, but more so, we need to start treating the public as customers, because we pay their wages.
Oh yes. And they got to start listening to you when you're actually explaining the issues or the issues that are causing the pain, you've got to start listening to you and not looking at you like they're not listening to you. And then they're just agreeing like, oh, we agree that your quality of life's poor and all that lot, but we can't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't need them to agree with that. You know your quality of life is poor. Yeah, it doesn't cheer you up knowing the doctor knows that as well.
And
want
then
a
you feel
solution.
patronised when they say it. And then you're like, no point speaking now, because you've already made a decision before I've even come in the room. So what's the point?
Again, poor customer service. You should leave that room understanding everything and knowing your options. And you should have options, because you are the customer. Nick, don't know what else to say. Thank you for coming on and having this conversation. I hope anybody out there in the same situation will understand you're not the only one. And we need our politicians to improve our public services because they're better than nothing, but they should be a lot better than they are. So cheers, Nick, for coming on. I wish you well. There's no simple answers for your case at all, but thank you for coming on, and hopefully I'll catch up with you again soon.
Nice one. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.